Oh shit. I thought I heard something. Ah! So you can also set the enemies to where they have skills as well. Alright guys, coming to you with another RPG Maker video. Now, in our last video, we covered an action combat system for RPG Maker MZ called the ARPG plugin set, which is free. Go check out that video. I do a demonstration and I talk about how complicated it is to set up. Now, before I was using that, or started learning to use that, for years I was using RPG Maker VX Ace for its action combat system. And for those of you who aren't aware, the action combat system makes it to where it's not a turn-based RPG where you select what you do per turn and then you take turns where you're battling your enemies and selecting what actions you take during battle. So this is more of like a Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, or just any Legend of Zelda top-down kind of video game where you run around and you can actually see your sword swings and attack. There's no taking turns, that sort of thing. So I've been through a bunch of different action combat plugins, scripts, things like that for RPG Maker, various versions of the RPG Maker series. This is the one that I find I prefer, and it's the easiest. So what I'm going to do is do a demonstration by playing this video game that I created. I didn't finish it, but I at least got enough to demonstrate in case I ever do want to finish it one day. But I have enough to demonstrate it, and once I demonstrate it, I'll explain a little bit about how this particular script works, this script set, how it works, and how you set it up in VX Ace. Alright, so here we go. And this is a custom menu that I created in VX Ace. Alright guys, so this is what we do. So you just saw probably something change up here in the corner if you were paying attention. And what happened was this is your magic meter that you can set for skills that you use in the actual battlefield, which is the map itself. This is your health bar over here. This is your experience bar, and this is the level that you're at. So I have the player starting at level 3 for story reasons. So here we go. This is basically a demonstration of what's possible in this in VX Ace. Now this is the SAS or SAS IV scripts. Using for VX Ace. And SAS stands for the Sapphire Action System. So some enemies I have set to where they're too weak to harm you, at least right now, starting out, based on, again, story reasons. But then there's other ones like this one that could actually harm you. And it took me a while to battle test to get that right, which I'll go into more detail at a later time. I'm using a controller to actually play this game. And I have it set where you can destroy barrels and get items. And you can even leave, like, you can even set it to where there's, like, broken wood and boards and stuff there when you destroy a barrel. But I figured it was just more dramatic to have it explode. And the enemies, they have a line of sight. I'm not sure if you noticed that yet. See, like, that one right there doesn't, it's moving randomly. It doesn't really, see, now it just noticed me, and it's going to chase me, and it'll continue chasing me. It won't stop. There's not a point where it just like, oh, where is it? Also, with this system, because it uses diagonal motions, like this on the map. So now, if you're familiar with RPG Maker, each square is basically like when you use like a terrain damage feature in RPG Maker games, the square that you're standing on will cause the damage. Well, because the nature of this system and how it works and how it's using the diagonal system, it breaks every square on the grid in a map down to 4 parts, almost like what you see in the tiles I'm standing on. So imagine like this is one square, even though it's not, but let's just say that's one square. This system breaks it down into four squares within that square. And so when if you use a terrain damage in this, what's going to happen is every step you take to get out of that square is going to damage you, and that's not how terrain damage is supposed to work in the basic RPG system, the basic engine. So this particular script kind of turns that off so that you're not instantly killing characters without intending to, and you're not trapping them until they can get out in case they are, they do have enough health to survive it. You're not trapping them with every step they take, if that makes sense. So anyway, I'm just going to go through, and because I've this particular game I set to look retro, almost like it's a Nintendo game or something along those lines, or maybe even Super Nintendo. And so some of the features and stuff, I want to reflect that. And so I've also made it challenging, like the early consoles were, like super challenging, and like some games today that just hold your hand through everything. So, yeah. So I want to get everything that I can get. Now, of course, I'm the creator of this game so far, so I know where all the things to get are. So what's going to happen is I'm going to try to get... all this stuff is random, too. Like, you saw that barrel offered me nothing. So I didn't get anything from that. But I'm going to try to get everything because I made this very challenging. So whatever I can get in potions and things along those lines, I'm going to do my best to get, because like I said, you might see me die a couple of times and that sort of thing. And I'm going to have chapters in this, so you can skip ahead to the technical stuff if you want, so you don't have to watch me play or die and then replay stuff. And I'm going to do some fast forwarding through this edit as well. And I know right now it doesn't look that challenging, but it's about to get really challenging. Also, for those of you who do develop RPG Maker games, or just any games, I like, actually, there's little touches, like little details, where, for example, I can't read this sign from the side. And I set it up that way because a lot of times in life, you can't read signs from the side because it's just not visible. So I set it to where these are intended where you can read each side because they're supposed to be writing on each side, like in the world of this game. And like the back side here, you can't read it because it's supposed to be from this side, and that's the only side that you can read. Because both of these right here represent the inn. And so when you're facing this way for this particular sign, you're facing away from the inn, and so it doesn't make sense to have anything written on that, really. I don't think, personally. But, my whole point is just little touches like that is what, it helps make or break some games. It just adds to the world and the immersion. Sometimes you don't need that, though. You don't need to be too realistic. So this is the overworld, and I have it set where there's only certain places you can go, and those little blinky things are enemies down there. And so I took the inspiration from Legend of Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. And so I'll explain more about that when I get to it, because right now I can't access it because I'm blocked, because you have to do this first tower thing here. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to play this real quick and see how quickly I die. And also, you heard that little, the door, like, sounds are also a nice little detail that really adds a lot to a game that people just don't realize until you were playing a game where there's barely any sounds for anything. All right, so like I said before, you can set the distance of the line of sight, like how far an enemy can spot you, so that you can do sneaking and stuff. See how I just snuck past that guy? So he just spotted me, and he's going to continue to hunt me down. And you can choose what speed they chase you or follow you, or what speed they move. That's the same in any RPG Maker game, pretty much. And because I know, because I've been barely getting anything from these barrels, and because I developed this game, I know it's gonna. I need to conserve as much magic as possible for the big boss. I got some mid-level bosses and then the big boss. So in this, but it's this particular area is kind of short. It's more of a tutorial area, like the first port. And see, I'm already pretty low here. So okay, the Persistence Pearl. Activating this pearl sends the wielder into a state of invulnerability for a brief time. This is going to come in handy if I can actually find the time to access it. So in the previous video, for the ARPG plugin set for RPG Maker MZ, they have a little a bar that you, like an inventory bar, like a hot bar, that you can take your inventory items and put it into your hotbar and access it on the fly, like really quickly using a controller or keyboard as you're in the field. This does not do that. So you have to actually, every time you use something, it takes you back to the map menu, which you're about to see, and then you have to go back into the menu and come to this particular, your items area, and get whatever it is that you need. So, but this Persistence Pearl, what this does is this actually makes it to where enemies can't hurt you for a short period of time. So I set this up using status effects and a step counter, but I'll go into more of the details later. If you're interested, I'll make a short video about how to set something like that up, whether it be here in this particular using this action combat system, or even using the standard vanilla RPG battle system, where the turn-based battle system. So this is going to come in handy if I can actually get to it. So I'm going to take an unfamiliar potion, which means an unfamiliar potion means that it's not, in this world, in this game, it's not, you don't know who made it. And so it's not of quality, in other words. Like this is actually, it'll tell you the alchemist that made it and that sort of thing. So and I'm not going to say anything. I'll wait and see if who out there can get the reference in this world building description. And that's another thing. You can use your items descriptions in your game to help world build. I mean, you don't want to spell everything out bluntly, but at the same time, you can put little details about your world or who crafted that item, or whatever, to help spice up and flavor the game to make it more delicious for your players to delve into. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see how I just had to go out and then come back in. So I'm going to use, yeah. I believe in the later RPG Maker games, you don't have to do that. That it stays in the menu until you exit it. So again, it's, going back to some of the older game engines is interesting, because you realize how they kind of get you spoiled on some features. You don't realize how great they are until you don't have them anymore. All right, let's see what else I can get, because I like I said, because I created this game, I know where to go. So, oh, I don't need to go here yet. All right. And I didn't give a whole lot of details as to what to do, but there's cues that kind of tell you, like when you went to the overworld map and you saw that blinking exclamation balloon over the one thing, and that's the only place you can go. So it tells you without having to just spell it out and hold your hand, that's where you need to go, and that sort of thing. And so you need to come here. And then some things are obvious and blunt, and other things kind of tip you off. So it's a delicate balance, because you don't want to insult your players' intelligence, but at the same time, you want to challenge them and give them enough information to work with. So that's another reason you haven't seen a whole lot of story stuff. Plus, I don't like a lot of games where as soon as you start it, it's like 10, 20 minutes of just word balloons, narration, word balloons, exposition dumps and things like that. So this game just kind of like tosses you right into it, and it makes sense within the story. So anyway. See, I died. Dang it. Told you it'd be a little, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward through some of this to get back to this area. Okay, so I did forget to mention that there is a little cave here you can get to, and if you got some gold, if you did explore around in that first stage and you got some gold, you can actually come in here and meet with it. It's kind of there's some random events in here, but one guy you can meet with has goods for sale. Okay, so these memory pearls I have set up to this is how you save your game or where you left off. So because I just died and I want to do this demonstration, so I have to go back and fast forward. I'm gonna buy a couple of these so I can save before things get too heated in battle. Collects the bearer's most recent experiences, and in other words, it saves your game progress. See, that was where I did spell it out a little bit just to make it clear what that does, so that you know it's a helpful item while also doing a little bit of world building, like what it would be explained as in the world. So here we go again. All right, so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to collect as much as I can without getting noticed. But see, that's the thing, though. You do need to kill these enemies because, well, you technically don't. As long as you have enough to replenish your magic, that should be enough. And this is a tip for those. If I release this game, that's a tip for those of you watching. So that's your reward for watching this. Is you get tips on this game for when I release it. I do plan on releasing it sometime because I really like this world and this story and these characters, and I do really like making games. So using how this is set up and how it works too, the timing of the attacks and the damage that you get or receive, you give or receive. You'll get used to when to like you can do a hit and run tactic, or if there's enough knockback when you hit the enemy, then you can just stand still and wait for them to get to that certain spot so you can hit them again. It's a learning progress. I mean, a learning curve. But once you get it, you got it, and it's very helpful. Now I don't know how he didn't notice me blowing up a barrel right next to him, but that works. Okay, he's a fast one. So if you need to buy yourself time, you can always use this trick. And there is a button that you do need to set your skill, because I didn't have it set to anything, and that's how the default is. So there's a button you need to press to set it, and then a different button to use it. All right. So that was again me just demonstrating the skill. I got one more guy here. He's a slower one, so this should be a little easier. I don't want to make it like extremely super difficult on everybody on the player, but just enough to be challenging and fun. Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. That was, oh, I almost just freaking died. Oh my god. All right. I'm going to go ahead and use, I'm going to demonstrate the memory pearl. All right, woo! So I'll start back there. If I do end up dying again, I don't have to go all the way back and do more fast forwarding. Ah, nothing. Oh, I think I have it where the fire... No, not in this game. I have other words where the fire can hurt you and stuff. It's a slight bit of realism. Alright, so this looks like a dungeon, and there's people stuck in here. Now, this is one of the little mini-bosses. These guys are way tougher than the other guys. Ah! So the save thing will take me back to the continue menu here. Ah! See, I'm telling you, it's a little challenging. Thought I was going to sneak up on him, but he turned around right as I was attacking. What the? Alright, I need to give myself some health there, I guess. Alright, now let's do this. I'm almost, as you can see up here, I'm almost with my experience bar. I'll be a little more powerful once I level up. And I in this engine, you can set it to where once you level up, you automatically refill your health too. So at this point, I'm going to try to avoid using potions if I don't have to. Woo! That was awesome. I will have music in the stages and levels, but when I test play and stuff, sometimes the music can be a little distracting. And plus, I haven't created or set the music that I would like per stage. So usually the music is one of the last things I do in developing a game. When do you guys decide to do the music? Do you guys make the music and let that help create the vibe and the feel of a stage, or do you do that, last? Or when do you guys make music when you're developing games? All right, so I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to stay away. Oh, and also it has it set to where, in this thing, in this engine with these plugins for this action system, when you use your skill, you can set it to where you can spam it or not spam it. So in other words, you can set the delay between once you use a skill, how long it takes to warm back up or recharge before you can use it again. So all these prisoners, uh-oh, he saw me. Ah, there's another guy. See how I couldn't spam that. I had to wait. And that's intentional. That's how I have it set. But you do have that functionality in this. Alright, whew. If I'm not mistaken, I think I got the keys when I killed that one guy. Yeah, when you kill the literal dungeon boss here, you get the keys.
Oh, someone finally managed to break through those creatures! Thank yous! They made me work too much for their leader. I didn't get his name, but he is otherworldly. I am to flee before anything worse befalls us. I am in much need of rest and recovery.
So, in case you haven't noticed, there's a smithing forge here and some water. So, each of these prisoners, as you free them, all I'm going to say is that some of them, not all, you'll run back into them later on in the game, in the story, as you progress. So you don't have to actually free them. You can only free some of them, or you can free all of them. You know, it's basically up to you what you would like to do in that situation. What kind of a player you're going to be here.
Graces! I thought this day would not come. Now me and my fairest Sheena can go back to our town and live happily. Thank you for your rescue.
And I'll wait for him to move so I can talk to the other people, but it's not extremely important to do so. All right. That's another thing I do want to implement is when someone's in your way where you can move them. I don't think I got to this point. Because like I said, I developed this game a few years back. So, no. And he knew I was, Okay, I'll rescue other people while he does his thing.
Thank you. Your aid is very much appreciated. We were not prepared for the raid that besieged this tower. I'll see if we can fix that after this tower's cleared.
Much gratitude, friend, for the rescue. This has been a grand event of the day, which would only be made better if I could find my loot. Well, I hope you really give these creatures some grief. Be safe in your travels. I hope we cross paths again, Knight.
Thank you, though. This is growing more and more dangerous. Your efforts shall not go unrecognized. I'll be sure to rally the others to take back this tower.
Thank you. Those beasts overpowered the lot of us. They sure are tough.
Thank you. We'll have to find a better strategy against those beasts, as they can overpower us easily. Once out of this cage, I'll see about reinforcements.
All right, just a few more prisoners to release. Not too many more.
Your aid is very much appreciated. You must be one of the Gaeyre Knight troop. I've seen your lot before. You're pretty skilled and well-trained. I admire you. Thanks for your service.
Oh, I say, I'm glad you're here to help. I watched those oinker things. Did you eat a couple of prisoners? I feared I was about to be eaten too.
Oh, come on, guy. God. This must be all that's left of this prisoner when it was eaten. Just nothing but bones. Guess he's so frightened he's speechless.
Thank you.
Psst, psst, psst. Hey, why don't you totally subscribe and like this channel so that you can also tell all your friends about us?
All right, so see now there's the main boss here for this level. All right, so let me All right, woo!
Thanks again for your aid. I have sent 2 troops to assess why we aren't hearing from Fort HelGunn.
See if any of you notice a slight little nod to something, a reference to another RPG game. All right, see, now, also, if I have it set to where all the prisoners left, too, while you were in battle there.
I just wanted to say thanks for watching.
Thanks again for your aid. I have sent 2 troops to assess.
All right, so see now, this is accessible, this second part. But I think I need some health potions because the next boss is going to be very different and a little more challenging. Oh yeah, I can't dash in here, that's right. I do have secrets in the overworld, though. Just saying. Right, it's been a little while since I've done this one, and this is one of the last dungeons I created and set up. So I'm a little foggy on some of the. At one point, I do want to. Some of the background stuff you can interact with. I just don't think I have that set up yet.
I am going to retire if I survive long enough. I hope you're here to help, though it boggles the mind if you can do anything against that. The infernal creature that wrecked this place, it ate soldiers that didn't flee whole. It ate them whole.
All right, so I guess he was hiding behind all these barrels. Because he was scared. He's a scared soldier. Training didn't prepare him for what he saw. Okay, I did make some things interactive here. So normally the way I have it set up in a lot of my games is when you get this dim background, this is more of like a narrator or someone, you know, outside of the game talking to the player, like adding more detail to like, yeah. So this is more for the player's benefit than an actual character in the game speaking. All right, so let's see the rest of the courtyard, the tower courtyard's like. It's just more of explaining what happened here. Oh shit. I thought I heard something. Ah! So you can also set the enemies to where they have skills as well. So like I said, this is going to be interesting. I need to save it. I need to save it. Memory pearl. No, I need to do potions first, I think. Alright, just be careful where you save it, though, because you don't want to save yourself right as you die over and over again. Or right as you die, that way you don't die over and over again, is what I meant to say. Ah! Oh yeah, I need more magic. That's why it wasn't working. I was trying to shoot him back. Ah! Ah! So you see, the sword's not going to work too well on this guy. Ah! Ah! I'm out of magic. And I'm oh god. Oh god. Okay, I'm going to use my... Okay, I know what I can do. I'm going to use my Persistence Pearl. That's how you know it's been used, because it gives you that status effect on it. Alright. Whew! So you see that, like, it hit me. You see how hard that hit. Each hit by that thing almost, like, would kill me. So I use my Persistence Pearl. And... Well, that was close, because it's already worn off. It's not long that it gives you invulnerability where you can't be hurt. It's not long. But that was just enough time to actually defeat this thing.
I have received word of quite an interesting concoction formulated by one in Davosport, who is said to have created a mix of explosive bubbles. Worth checking out. Furtowin has also been retaken and fortified before anything akin to what happened here could occur there. The situation with Varenheim grows more dire by the moment.
At least there is hope, it sounds like, even if things remain in upheaval. With our own soldiers' efforts and of the Gaeyre Knights, we have beat back further calamity, it would seem. Very well, let's continue assessing the damage and begin to heal and repair. I'll visit Glance at Gedenn Tower and... Here is our brave Gaeyre Knight, as we speak. Our hero of the day, who has slain a vile beast indeed.
I have heard some good news during this, our darkest hour. Glad to see the Gaeyre have taken interest in our pleas for aid.
So, the Gaeyre have heard our requests for help. I am glad you are here. Who knows what would be raining upon us if not for your services and a few select soldiers that kept all this from being even worse than it currently is. We also have a very special informant working on figuring out what is going on here. So, the Gaeyre have heard our requests for help. I'm glad you're here. Who knows what would be raining upon us if not for you.
Alright, I thought I might have programmed some different stuff from them. So you'll notice some things once you clear that.
No! I wasn't hiding in the fireplace during the creature's attack. Not me! I wouldn't do such a thing.
Ah. Alright, that guy doesn't say anything apparently. So, once you go back also to... See, now this is cleared. And you can go into some other places. Which, this is pretty close to where I got last time, I think. But, okay, so like I said before, another thing I want to show you before we get into the technical stuff, because this is another really thing that I thought was kind of cool, because if you remember The Legend of Zelda 2, how the enemies would appear on the overworld. they'd be kind of like blinking like this and kind of like moving around. And then when you would touch them, they would take you to their own level, like a different level. And so that's pretty much what's happening here. So you're here to like destroy some of these things. I hope. Oh, I'm poisoned. Oh crap. I don't think that cleared my poison. So in these, you basically have to clear. So again, that's another skill that's set where it's a poison skill. And I do have it to where there is an item. All right. So anyway, so I don't have to play all the way back through for you, even though it's fun. Let's get to the technical stuff here. So, like I was saying, you can set up different kinds of skills, and so how this works is you set the skills in your database, the same as you normally would. The only difference is you use these notes down here to tell it what's going on, in which, you know, the SAS IV Combat Action System, it actually, the Sapphire Action System, I should say, which is what SAS stands for, yet again. I know I mentioned that once before. But you set up it comes with its own instructions, basically. It tells you what any of these are. It also comes with instructions on how to set up your enemies and that sort of thing. But going back to skills, so yeah, you can set the different kinds of skills that you want. Bubble bombs is another skill that the guy was just talking about that was being developed in Davosport, and so they were sending somebody there to find out more about this, which was the player's cue, basically, to go there and learn this skill or find out more about this skill. The vial spores basically is the poison things. So you have to set up your own particles. You can design your own or use what's there, but also you can use these icons up here, which will be what the actual particles are. And so basically it'll take these icons and make them spin. But I have the icon because that's how it appears on your skill list. So when you saw how my Gaeyre thing had like hold on, the Gaeyre wave. Yeah, you saw it had this symbol. So on the HUD, this is what's going to appear next to that magic meter whenever you use in this icon set here. But the particles are a little bit different, and what they do is you can use these icons, but whatever you use, whatever graphic you use for that, it'll basically take that and make it a particle. So it'll spin it, in other words, and give some extra effects to it. And you can set the speed, the power of it, and also this is the recovery rate. So you can make it to where it's 0, to where you can just spam the hell out of it, or you can set it like I did, and this basically gives you, I think it's 2 seconds before you can use it again. That way you can't spam it. You know, you don't want to make things too easy with in the game. So again, that's more of a playtesting thing that you have to playtest and find out. But it's super easy to set up because you just pop these things in based on what the instructions say, which are much better instructions that comes with the ARPG plugin set. So yeah, anyway. So that's basically, there's not a whole lot to this. You know, you set up this right here, and you can use the formula up here for it, and that sort of thing. But the enemies is also very easy to set up. So with the enemies, you don't, the way they look is how they look on screen, like a normal character or normal sprite. You don't set up how they look here. What you do is in this little command note tag right here, what you're doing is you're telling it which file in the character sprite sheets folder that in the game itself, the base engine draws from. You don't put the extension, you just put the name of the file and then the index. The index, for those of you who might not know, so each file comes with 8 slots, so you can put 8 characters on there. And so it starts with 0 and goes to 7, even though it's 8 slots. So basically, I created a B, which you didn't see here because I have it set up for other areas. But in this particular example, I have a B character sprite that's listed on the Monsters 4 sheet, and it's the 5th slot on that sheet. And so that's how it knows what to pick up, how to make it look per enemy, and that sort of thing. Yeah. So, like, for example, these enemies right here. That's why you don't see them like you don't see them as you do these other character sprites and NPC sprites, but they are there because it's drawing from the sheet to place them there. And that's why they were there when I was actually in the dungeon, but you don't really see them here. You just have to trust your event to pull from it. And so basically what you do is you create an event for each enemy, and you can copy and paste from the demo. That way it's already set up. And basically what you do is this actually creates which the local switch that's set up in the scripts. And again, scripts is just another name for plugins in VX-Ace and some RPG Maker engines before MV. So anyway, in the scripts, it's set up to put in a comment tag on which enemy. So I have enemy 28 here. So what you would do is you would just go to whatever enemy you want to put in that event. You look at the number here, and that's the enemy. So it'll be enemy 28 for that, because this is the mid-level boss that I want. And so that's why I put enemy 28 in a comment right here. And so that's how it knows what to draw from in the database. And then the local switch, this just means, the activation of this event. And then when I put these variables in, because you can access these variables later, they're not really important. You don't have to have these to make this work. This is just a customization thing, in other words. And I also have it set to where when you kill it, the word cell key will bounce for like a second, and it'll actually give the player the cell keys to actually go around and open the gates like I did. And then the other tab on that is basically just what to do with it once it's defeated. And you can actually give it, if you put something in here, it'll actually show, once it's defeated, it'll show whatever you put in here. So if you put like a dead sprite of the enemy, it'll show up if you put something in here. If not, then it just disappears, and you don't have to really worry about it. And that's pretty much about it. I mean, this, if you copy and paste from the demo of enemies, then and then just modify this right here, the which enemy it is, that's all you really have to do to set up your enemy. You do all the enemy work here in the database, and then to place them on the map, you just edit this right here to tell it which enemy to draw from and put here on the map, or wherever you want on the map. And it's that easy. And that's another reason I really do like this particular script set and this ARPG. I've tried a bunch of different ones, and for many RPG versions. I tried different ones for VX-Ace. I tried different ones for MZ and MV. And I've had problems with a lot of them. The only ones I really like so far is the one from my previous video, the ARPG plugin set, and this one. And this one right here is pretty simple and solid. The only problem is it's only accessible on VX-Ace, and it's the most stable on VX-Ace, I found. Yeah, I'll explore more. If you guys want me to explore more of these different types of action combat systems, let me know in the comments, or send me an email. You can find that on the main ALT+SHIFT+NERD Gaming page. But you can send an email and let me know. You can put a list in the comments. I mean, you can say so in the comments if you want me to explore more of those things. And setting up the like the dragon villain boss. That's what did I put that? Anyway, I put it somewhere, but you can set the skill and that sort of thing for that. All right, right here. So again, you can put it's a little bit larger than a regular character sprite. So when you make larger characters, I could have made it even even bigger. Like I could have made a full blown dragon. And what happens is it sets the you need to set the hitbox for that, and so that's part of where these notes actually set the features for each individual skill and character and enemy and that sort of thing, like what's possible. And so you can set the hitbox also to be larger for the larger ones. But to have the larger characters, for those of you who aren't familiar with RPG Maker, you need this $sign at the beginning of the file name that you want to be larger. And so that's why that little mini dragon was larger than the other sprites and that sort of thing. And you can set the speed of the actual enemy. And again, like I said, the view is the range. And this actually goes in squares. So again, it breaks each square on the map down into 4s. So to do 2 squares, 5 squares, you do 5 times 4. So what you do, so basically the view here, because each square is basically broken into 4 squares, so you have to multiply each square by 4. So for 5 squares, you would get 20. So that dragon can actually view the player within 5 squares. Anything like 6 squares and beyond, it will not see the player. It will not notice the player. And I gave it a larger range to see the player because it's aerial. So again, sometimes you have to think about little details like that too. Like if you were in that world, what would that? How do you translate what's happening in the game into the immersive world that you're bringing the player into? And so because, like I said, it is aerial, it'll be able to see the character from a larger distance. Like for example, the first baddies in that fort that you encounter, they can only see within 10, a range of 10, so it's like within 2 or 3 squares. So, 2.5 squares basically. You can do halves because, like I said, each square is broken into a set of 4. So you can say half a square, which is important to note because I don't think it really says that in the actual instructions and stuff. And that's another thing I hope to, by sharing this with you, not just to show a partial game I've created and some of the features, but and not just to inspire you, but also to demonstrate not only what you can do with this particular script here in the database, but also, some of the things they don't tell you, that you can only learn from playtesting. And I playtest the hell out of as I playtest as I go. I don't set up a bunch of different stuff and then go back and playtest each one. I playtest as I create it. That way I know that it's done. I don't have to go back to it unless I think that something conflicted with something. But that way I can just I make sure that I can move on properly instead of having to constantly come back. So anyway, that's pretty much it, mostly. I think I've covered everything. I showed a demonstration. You just set everything up here, and then you just put an event on the map, copy and paste each enemy. That way you don't have to go through and set all this up every time. And this right here, you don't even really need. I just set this because I wanted the characters to, every time you defeat something, I want it to go into a monsters defeated thing. And also you get an item. And then basically once this is done, it basically just makes the enemy go away or look dead on the map, whatever you want to set it to. But that's pretty much it. That's all you really have to do is just set up the enemies here, put it on the map here, put which enemy in the database it is, and you're good to go. It's just a matter of play testing to see if they're weak, strong, if that's the balance that you want. You know, if you want it to be challenging, easy, or like a mid-level thing. And you can even set it to where the difficulty is higher if you want, you know, to set it like a difficulty mode. All you would have to do is just copy these 3 things and 3 more tabs up here, and then you would just set a switch to like whatever switch you have a difficulty mode set to. Let's say that instead of enable sword, my first switch in the game that I have set is difficulty master level or something. Then like the hardest difficulty. And then so all you would do is you would just go to your enemy database that has the harder enemies to fight in that mode, and then you would just look at the number and then just pop that into here. And that way you don't have to set multiple events. All you got to do is just, if the character in the beginning of the game or whenever you have it set where they can choose that, the difficulty, then once they choose that hardest difficulty, then basically a switch would be activated on here. But if they don't choose that, then it'll look just like this, where there's no switch, and you have these basic 3, which is the basic enemy setup on the map. And then that's pretty much it. And I love it, man. It's very solid. There's very few bugs in it. And I don't use a whole lot of other kinds of scripts with it, so I haven't encountered too many or too much conflicts with, you know, anything that conflicts with this actual script. So if you guys are like use tons of scripts or plugins, then there may be some conflicting stuff. But the guy who created this, I forget his name right now, but he's really solid. He's a really great programmer. He makes a lot of great scripts, not just this one. Let's see if Cass, yeah, that's it. Cass Arc Thunder. I don't know if he's still doing it, but you know, you can always look him up and see what other stuff he's got. And he also gives a term of service, and this actually tells, you know, some of his are free for commercial use that you can actually create a game with and sell, and some are not. For VX-Ace, this actually is free for commercial use in scripts, as you can see here. So you can actually, you know, create a game in the VX-Ace using this script and be able to sell it. And, you know, his website's right here. Give him a shout out and give him a little bit of credit. So you can always go check this out. And I'll put this in the description of the video as well, so you can always, you know, go there and see what he's doing nowadays, and maybe even download this and play with it. And if you guys have experience with this, or want to play with this and do actually, you know, download it and kind of test it out for yourself, let me know in the comments how it worked for you, how it's going. And I think that's going to conclude this video. I think it's went on long enough, and yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was inspirational, and yeah, feel free to hit that like button down below and subscribe and leave a comment. And anybody else that might, you know, need some inspiration or need some to take a look at this kind of thing, feel free to share the link, share the video, embed it on your site, put it on your social media platforms. We're a small channel. We want to grow.
Support this channel and watch it grow.
Until next time, this is ALT+SHIFT+NERD Gaming, signing out.
It ate them whole.